Ravens Nation, what is up? We Bleed Purple podcast is back for our official final preview show for the NFL draft starting tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. The Ravens are going to be on the clock with the 14th pick in the draft. Daniel Wilcox, Matt Trigger. We have a lot to talk about. It's been a couple weeks, man. First and foremost, the NFL draft is just about 23 hours away, and the Ravens are going to have the 14th pick. The last time we picked the number 14, we took Kyle Hamilton, and we are potentially going to add the next great interior offensive lineman, defensive lineman, potentially tight end. Where do you see us going tomorrow night, Wilcox?
Man, if we smart, we're gonna get an O lineman or a D lineman. If we smart, I guess I'm a front office guy. I would
You
like to
are a front
think
office guy.
I would like to think we're gonna bring home a big boy. We got to build those trenches back up. We have done everything we can to do all the skill position stuff that we could in the last couple years. The last year since Eric took over. I think it's time to really stock up on these trenches right now because that's what we really been lacking for the last 2 seasons. At the same time, Matt, I've been hearing a lot of talk about a wide receiver.
I
You
don't
know,
like it. I
I
don't
don't
like it.
like it. I don't like it either. But I've been hearing a lot of talk about a wide receiver at the 14th pick. I just don't think you're going to get a guy in the 14th pick that's going to be that much of a difference maker at wide out. As the guys would be in the trenches.
Unless Carnell Tate falls.
Yeah.
I don't see Carnell Tate falling unless one of those prized Ohio State wide receivers falls in the draft to the Ravens.
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't see it. Everybody's been talking about Jordan Tyson. I get it. I understand it. He's a talented individual. Denzel Boston's been mentioned, but I agree with you. This has to be a trenches draft. They they need to get a, one of them big boys up front. And now there's also been speculation the last couple days that if Ruben Bain, the defensive end, the edge setter from Miami,
Miami
falls
Dolphins,
past,
Miami Hurricanes. Yep.
yep, if he falls past the number 10 pick, that we could potentially swoop in and trade up for Ruben Bain. Now, I think Ruben Bain's going to be a generational talent. He is just that damn good, despite the measurables, the short arms, whatever you want to say. I know that it has a lot to do with it,
Yeah.
but um, they invested at the pass rusher position with the Trey Hendrickson, and they have Mike Green from last year. Um, I really believe they got to go trenches. It's so all over the place, and we're not going to truly know until the first offensive lineman gets drafted. They're talking about the Maligoa from Miami could fall.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about Spencer Fano could fall. Um, Caden Proctor could fall. Vega Ione could fall to 14. So, out of all those guys, I would prefer Ione just by the simple fact that he's a natural guard.
Yeah.
And with those other guys, you would have to be moving a tackle to guard.
Who's
Um,
Ione? Where's he from? Is he the kid from Oregon?
no, that's the kid from Penn State.
Penn
The
State kid. Gotcha.
the Samoan from Penn State. Um,
Okay.
in the last 2 years, he's given up 0 sacks, zero
Yeah.
QB hits,
He not gonna
and
be there.
four pressures for the 24 and 25 seasons.
Yeah, he's not gonna be there.
Um, uh, it all depends though, Wilcox. It all depends on if there's a run on skill position players. Obviously, Mendoza's projected number one overall pick, and then there's Jeremiah Love is hanging around, Sonny Styles is hanging around. A lot of these popular picks are hanging around. You have Bain, you have Arvell, you have all these guys. All these guys. All we need is a couple of these teams to panic and take a edge rusher or panic and take a wide receiver early.
Yeah.
And every time there's a panic pick, one of these guys has a better chance of falling to us. Caleb Down from Ohio State hanging around. So
I like
I'm
Caleb.
I'm okay with that. I'm really okay with that. If Caleb Downs fell to 14, as much as it would piss me off going safety 2 years in a row, you you really don't have to worry about anything else at safety for the foreseeable future with Hamilton, Starks, and Downs. But the only downside to Caleb Downs is his lack of size.
He's a dog though.
I
He's another
he's a
Georgia kid.
yeah, he's a dog. No, I get that. I totally
Yeah.
get it. He's a dog. I don't think he's falling past Cincinnati, honestly. I think Cincinnati takes him if he's there.
Yeah.
I believe they pick a 12. The Ravens got their work cut out for him. Eric DeCosta and company has their work cut out for him. You've talked on the show a lot about what it's like sitting in the draft room on draft night and getting to experience that part of the business. Is there something surprising that most fans don't know about draft night? What is it like in that room?
Well, I want to make sure we're clear, man. I've never been inside the draft room on draft night.
Okay.
I was supposed to be that year, but COVID came and then everything became a virtual thing that year. So the year I would have got a chance to actually sit in the draft room with the Baltimore Ravens and see how every single thing worked, COVID hit and ruined it for me, and everything ended up being Zoom and virtual. So I missed it, So I can only imagine what it looked like. And of course, I'm a guy that didn't get drafted. I got a couple of phone calls the night of, night 2, night 3, but I never got a chance to get drafted. So I don't know how it actually feels to be in that room. I'm just like you. I've seen movies. I've seen, the clips that they've posted on ESPN, and I've seen the other stuff they've posted on YouTube and stuff like that. But I've never actually got a chance to sit in that room. I would have loved to. I would have loved to have done it in Baltimore, who I think is probably one of the best drafting teams in the NFL completely.
Yeah, I've never really asked you that question if you were in the draft room, so that's literally me figuring out. I know you
it's
were
okay.
organized.
I mean, I could have lied and tried to wing it, but I just wanted to keep it 100 with our fans. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be blowing smoke up their ass or your ass. At the end of the day, pause. You got to say that nowadays, right?
Yeah.
But
right.
I just wanted to keep it 100. I've never got a chance to sit in that draft room. I wish I had of, and I know it's going to be frantic, and I know they're going to be on the phone with a ton of agents and a ton of players and parents, and letting them guys know that we're interested and we may be taking them if they're up next. And that's what happened to me, Matt. I got a couple of phone calls say, hey man, if you're still around this next pick, we're taking you. And those teams called me, and then I was around that next pick and they didn't take me because of the exact same thing that you're saying right now. Guys may fall. So when those guys they think that are more valuable than you fall, and they end up able to pick up those guys, and they're going to draft those guys before they draft the guy that they're calling their premeditated call that they call before the draft a couple of rounds ahead.
Yeah, I understand that. Another interesting tidbit about the NFL draft this year is that they have lessened the time in between first round picks again. If you remember years ago, back when you were an active player, it was 15 minutes for every first round pick. And then it dropped down to 10 minutes. And now this year is going to be 8 minutes in between each pick. So now teams are going to have to wheel and deal a whole lot faster if they want to make any moves. Now, while I'm on the subject of making moves, I know we haven't really been on air a whole lot lately, but you and I both saw, as well as the rest of Ravens flock, they dropped the new uniforms.
Yeah.
I know that you're jealous because you're a uniform guy.
I am.
The all black helmet, the new stripes,
everything that I would have designed for the team, they done. Yeah. Everything.
It's interesting now maybe I missed it, and if anybody's watching and listening, they can correct me in the comments. But there was one person that's been a Raven for a very long time that was noticeably absent in the uniform campaign. And that's Marlon Humphrey.
You're right.
Marlon, they've had Justice Hill, Teddy Buchanan, Kyle Hamilton, Zay, Lamar, Trey Hendrickson's front and center.
Right.
Never played a snap for the Ravens. He's front and center in the blackout uniform with the blackout helmet.
They trade Martin. They're gonna trade Marlon the day of the draft tomorrow.
That's what I was leading into. Maybe I'm just reading a little bit into it, Wilcox.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a whole bunch of hoopla for nothing.
Yeah.
But Marlon Humphrey was noticeably absent from the media day. He wasn't on stage at the Jiffy or the Merriweather Post Pavilion PSL catwalk which was crazy. They sold out Merriweather with PSL holders for a fashion show for the Ravens uniforms last week. They had
It's crazy.
almost 7,000 people in attendance from what
It's,
was reported.
it's crazy.
So you're of the belief that Marlon Humphrey gets traded during the NFL draft?
I mean, the fact that they didn't have him involved at all is kind of weird. That I didn't even notice that. So I mean, the fact that you pointed that out is dope. But the fact that he wasn't involved at all, and he's such a high profile player here in Baltimore, he's been a staple of his team for a long time. How long has Marlon been here? 14 years? 12 years?
This year is going to be year number, I believe this is year 11.
Year
Let
11?
me check.
That's a long time. 10 years or more is long as hell. So he's been a staple for this team for over a decade. That's crazy. For him not to be involved in the uniform stuff, he must have either told them that he didn't want to have nothing to do with it.
He was drafted in 2017. So he's been here 10 years this year. This is his coming into this will be his 10th year. 2026 will be his 10th year. So
it's crazy.
That just speaks volumes. Now, if I think Marlon Humphrey is going anywhere, I truly believe that John Harbaugh comes calling.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay, they can have him. Another broken down cornerback,
Yep. They're gonna take him and convert him to safety like we should have.
So yeah, their safeties would be Jalen Ramsey and Marlon Humphrey. That would be insane to see.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. I think the Giants make a call. I think a team like the Raiders make a call, even though I don't think the Raiders are going to do business with us much anymore.
Yeah, I would if I was them.
And it's interesting again because we are now 5 weeks removed from that Max Crosby trade, and he's still a Raider. But I digress. I'm not going to go into that whole thing again, but it's definitely interesting. I think Marlon gets moved. I think there might be an outside chance Bateman gets moved. I don't know what they're going to do. It's a lot of wait and see. A lot's going to have to do with, I guess, how the draft unfolds. We got some really good news from Nnamdi Madubuike's camp as well. A week before the draft. Now I wanted to talk to you because we talked on the phone yesterday. And we talked on the phone earlier today. And Madubuike has been posting workout videos for the better part of the off season, and he looks to be in phenomenal shape. And then his team announces he had neck surgery last week. Now, you being the former player, what kind of alarm bells does that raise for somebody that's trying to come back from a career-threatening football injury?
I'm still not sure what the injury was with his neck, Matt, so it's hard to really say. If I had to guess, they're talking about him being eligible for camp for something, so for them to be talking about him being eligible for camp, the neck surgery had to be like a laser surgery or something just to clean something up, something very minute and something very minor. I wouldn't think it was anything big, otherwise they wouldn't be talking about clearing him to play, so I'm assuming it's something that he would be ready for the season. So it had to be something very minor. So it wouldn't worry me at all that he's having something right now, a minor neck surgery. It all depends on how truly severe the neck injury was. And last year they was talking about it was life-threatening or career-threatening or whatever. So I'm not sure. I'm really intrigued by the Madubuike situation, and I really can't wait to see how that unveils.
Yeah. I believe that I believe the NFL draft is going to tell us this year's draft class is going to tell us how bad or good Matabike's prognosis is by the way Eric drafts. If he takes a nose tackle
Mm-hmm.
or a defensive lineman in the first 2 rounds, I'm going to have alarm bells going off because we just extended Jones. We drafted Peebles last year.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with it. Like if they take the kid Peter Woods out of Clemson, absolute baller. But if they take him in the first round, if they trade back, take him later in the first round and get some more draft picks back, that tells me Matabike is not nearly as ready as they're saying he is. If they go interior offensive line and then they go interior offensive line again on Friday night with either the second or the third round pick, my opinion is a little bit more positive. But I wanted to answer one of the commenters. Our favorite center in the draft. Now, I will tell you this, Uriah. My favorite draft prospect is Auburn center Connor Lew. He fits the mold. He's a little bit bigger than Tyler Linderbaum. He's projected to be a day 2 pick, either second or third round. I think if he's sitting there in round 3, the Ravens should definitely take him, but he might not make it out of the Friday night for the second round. So I think it would be really great for us to do that. I know you said that you like the Kansas State kid, Sam Hecht. I think he's going to be a very good NFL center. There's
Yeah.
Logan Jones, Jake Slaughter, Trey Zune. There's a lot of
Ryan
guys
Parker.
there's a lot of guys that could fit the bill for the Ravens. And the Ravens historically have pretty decent luck finding offensive linemen in the middle rounds, not necessarily the late rounds. Marshall Yanda was a third round pick.
Yeah, they also got the Iowa kid, Logan Jones, too, that you just mentioned. So, they like Iowa guys, so I would think he would be very interesting for us. And I like the fact that the kid, Brian Parker, is from Duke. Usually that says a lot about how smart a kid is.
Yeah.
So that might be a high IQ type player they may actually be interested in taking as a center.
Correct.
So
now I know you're gonna like this. Your boy Daniel Jeremiah from your time together in Baltimore.
D Jizzle, that's my college quarterback.
Yep, Daniel Jeremiah was your college QB.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he was. And then I know he worked with the Ravens for a while.
He did. He the reason why I ended up being a Raven.
Kenyon Sadiq, the Oregon tight end at 14.
Yeah, I like him.
And then Jeremiah also says that they trade up to 32 and take Peter Woods and double dip in the first round again. I wouldn't be mad at it. I wouldn't be mad. You're a tight end. It's obvious throughout the years of us doing this show together, you have an implicit bias when it comes to talking about tight ends.
Yeah.
Does Kenyon Sadiq at 14 make sense for Baltimore?
I think you're jumping. I think you bring him up higher to get him there at 14. I don't know if the Ravens will jump and take a tight end as the best player available at that spot.
Okay.
Put it like that. And the only reason I'm saying that is because, you look at a lot of these mock drafts, he's not even in the top 15 picks, So I kind of get worried sometimes when, even though I would love for us to take another tight end at 14, don't get me wrong. I just think we have some positions that are more needed than tight end right now. And, with the receiver situation, I was even skeptical on that. I just feel like the trenches is the most detrimental space that we need the most right now. So taking a O lineman or a D lineman to me would make more sense than taking a tight end or a receiver. Mind you, I mean, Ozzie Newsome, our general manager, was tight end, a Hall of Fame tight end. So I can't say no to that. I would love for us to go get another guy since we just lost Isaiah Likely, and I loved Likely. I thought he should have been a Raven for life. To lose him to John Harbaugh makes me sick to my stomach. At the same time, I wouldn't mind, going and taking a tight end at 14. I just feel like in my mind and my thought process, the way my mind works, we need to go get a dog inside in those trenches, offensive lineman, interior lineman, even the exterior lineman. I don't care, on offensive side of the ball. And then my next look would be trying to get somebody at defense that would come in and just wreak havoc on everybody.
I agree with you. Now, the thing is, Sadiq's intangibles can't be denied. The
He
the the,
cannot
s-
be.
the sub 4.40. He ran in
Mhm.
the 4.3s.
Yeah.
He's a physical freak of nature, specimen, however you want to put it. There's only one football, and we saw how Isaiah likely got lost in the sauce last year.
Hmm.
And I know
Don't
he had
remind me.
he didn't have a great year statistically. He everything dropped, touchdowns, catches, targets, yards, everything. There's only one football,
Yeah.
and we're going into a new offense. This isn't the John Harbaugh, Todd Monken offense where you know that they're going to play two tight ends. This
Yeah.
is different. This is completely different. We
Yeah.
don't know. We don't know what Declan Doyle is going to run.
Yeah. I would look at some of those later tight ends, man, to be coming to Baltimore versus the Oregon kid. I would look at the Vanderbilt kid or the Ohio State kid. Eli Stowers, Max Clare, Sam Roush. Some of
Yeah,
those guys, Justin Jolly, to be drafted later, like later in the draft. Third round, fourth round picks. I would think they would probably have a tight end there since they did just sign Mark Andrews to that huge contract.
yeah. I mean, Nathan's right. We could probably trade back and grab a couple more picks and grab Sadiq around 18 or 19 if we wanted to. But I don't. I
Yeah, I
don't
don't.
think.
I don't think he'll be there.
I don't think this is a draft you trade back in the first round. There's a clear cut
Yeah.
divide between your top 15 and the bottom 15 in terms of prospects. Um, Joe
Yeah.
commented we definitely need a new linebacker. Now, I I posted it on social media earlier.
Yeah,
Wilcott.
yeah, you did. I think I got tagged on it, man. I saw it.
You know,
Boy, look like me out there.
our boy had a little bit of a beer gut. He's been enjoying the off season. Now, this is historically accurate for Roquan Smith. He's come into camp overweight, seemingly overweight for his position almost every single year he's been here, minus
Yeah,
the
it's
year
not
he got
good.
traded for. It's not good.
It's not
Now,
good.
is it an overreaction? Because it's only April 22nd. We're 3 months away from camp.
No, I mean it's not an overreaction, and I'm a victim of this too. Like my years in the league were very awkward and weird, and I wasn't a premier guy in the league the entire time I was there. So there was off seasons where I would take a week off or 2 weeks off as soon as the off season was over with to try to rest my body because it got so beat up every year throughout the years playing all the special team reps and all the offensive reps. So I'm victim of working my way into working out slowly in the off season and then coming back in shape, but not coming back in the type of shape I would have been if I was like a workout warrior or workout god and I'm training on my ass off, to be in Hall of Fame shape. And I have a 20-year-old right now, and and I'm every day I tell him the things that I regret the most about my career. You know, I regret not just pouring every ounce of myself into this game, every ounce of myself into training, every ounce of myself and taking care of my body. You hear the stories about how Derrick Henry spends like 200,000 on his body. Jamal Lewis used to spend 100,000 on his body every off season, and I never made that type of money to be able to put that much into myself. At least I didn't think I did, but I should have. I should have sacrificed whatever I needed to sacrifice in order to prepare myself for every single season and came back in the best shape that I could have possibly been in so that I was able to be a Hall of Fame caliber player. And I think I was good enough to be a Hall of Fame caliber player if I put the time and the energy and really had to focus the Kobe Bryant Mamba mentality type drive in me to do it. I was a guy that came from a small school that never thought I was going to be an NFL guy. When I got to the NFL, it was like, oh my God, I'm here. Then I realized after about year two that I actually could play in the NFL and I wanted to play in the NFL. And then my goal was just to be a starter. So once I got to be a starter in the NFL, that was my goal. I was there. I got the Ravens. I started. I was happy with that. And I was good at that position. I didn't shoot to be a Pro Bowler. I didn't shoot to be a Hall of Famer. Although I was almost a Pro Bowler twice, I didn't shoot to be a Hall of Fame player, but I wish I had. I really, truly, in every ounce of me, wish I have given myself the opportunity to be a Hall of Fame caliber tight end in this league and a football player in this league and a special teams player in this league. I was happy with just being a starter and just being a leader on the team that made me feel accomplished. But as soon as I retired as soon as I got hurt and I retired and I walked away from the game and I started seeing all my teammates going to the Hall of Fame, that triggered something in me that made me wish I had to work 10 times harder than I did and put in more work if I could have in any way possible that I could have. And it made me sick to my stomach. All my teammates, the Ed Reeds, the Ray Lewises, the Jonathan Ogdens, the the Derek Brooks, the John Lynches, the Warren Sapps, the the Deion Sanders, all these guys I played with, man, is seeing them going to the Hall of Fame. I was super proud of them, so proud of those, so happy for those guys. But it also made me mad at myself that I didn't push myself hard enough. So I pushed my oldest son the way that I would have wanted to be pushed if I had a father in my life to kind of give me those moments, So I don't remember where I started with that, Matt, but whatever. I just wanted to get that out there. I think we got an opportunity to do some really great things in this draft. And I think it's going to start with that 14th pick.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I agree with a couple of comments because we were talking about Roquan coming in a little bit heavier.
That's
than,
what it was. That's
yeah,
what it was.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like to me. He
Yeah.
not putting everything into his off-season workouts.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, that might be a little bit of a gamble with an entire new coaching staff, though, Wilcox, because it's not like
he's
Harbaugh's here.
Smith, but he's Roquan Smith.
I get it, and he's a $20 million middle linebacker. He's one of the premier middle linebackers in the league. There's not. I can count on one hand how many inside linebackers might be better than him overall.
Right.
But it's just I get it's an overreaction, but I can't imagine it being a good look to the new coaching staff when he comes in. And now, granted, he's leaned over. Looks like he's in a back pedal almost, like kind of the way he's like positioned himself. And you see the gut, you see, everything kind of just like loose, I guess. Yeah. I'm not criticizing anybody for them because I haven't been in game shape in like 25 years. So
man, I'm telling you, bro, it's crazy. I mean, it could just be a jersey though, man. I didn't see him in person, so I can't really tell. It could just be his jersey hanging down. He may be fine. Maybe he had on 2 shirts or 3 shirts underneath that thing or something. I don't know.
I mean, he's also known for practicing with a hoodie underneath of his jersey, so I'm not making excuses for it. We're really struggling leading up to the draft because that lull between the start of free agency and the start of draft, these guys in local media and national media, they look for so many things to talk about. And Roquan just happened to have a bad picture taken of him. I think he's going to be fine, but let's put our GM hat on for a second. This is our draft heavy show. The draft kicks off in Pitt. Oh, by the way, the draft is in Pittsburgh, and the fans that go to the draft, they all get assigned seating according to their teams. Right. So if you buy a ticket to the draft as a Baltimore Ravens fan, you sit with the other Baltimore Ravens fans.
Wow.
The Rooney family saw that we were sitting in front of the Pittsburgh Steelers fans on the seating chart, and they had it adjusted to where they are now sitting behind the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, they moved the Pittsburgh Steelers to the front of that section. So a little bit of
the same shit.
Yeah,
I would have done the same shit.
A little bit of gamesmanship, but okay, you and I are both on the same accord. Now, for everybody watching, our weekly listeners, the people that have been with us for the years past now, they know we don't always agree on everything, but we can definitely agree on the fact that they need to take a lineman in the draft. If the kid,
absolutely early,
if the kid Ione is not there, the one thing I want to say is if we draft the kid out of Miami, Mauigoa, Miami's offensive line coach cross trains all their offensive linemen so they can play all 5 positions on the offensive line. And he has come out in the draft interviews and said, "I will play wherever you put me. I just want to start." So if we draft Mauigoa, there's a potential that he could be our center. He's going to be a little bit of a taller center at 6'5", but he said he's willing to play anywhere
Yeah.
on the offensive line if it means that he's playing day one.
Right.
He said that in his pre-draft interviews. So to me, that's ringing a bell that if Malago is there at 14 and we take him, we might not have to worry about finding a center in the second round or the third round. We can focus on something else. If Malago is open to playing center for Lamar Jackson, that solves that center position for us, at least temporarily. He played mainly guard and tackle in college, but if he's cross-trained at it and he's willing to do it, that's something there. Now the second round, I know there's a lot of draft prospects and a lot of if, ands, and buts. What is your priority for the second pick of the draft for the Ravens? Would you double up and double dip at offensive line? Do you go interior defensive line? Do you go tight end? Do you possibly go edge and take a guy that's a fringe first rounder? What would you do in round 2?
For me, it's a O-line round 1. Round 2, I would get an edge or interior D lineman. Somebody that's going to wreak havoc. Like I said, I just want to see us punish people. I'm tired of getting pushed around, and us not flying around to the ball. Whoever I get is going to be somebody with a high motor, whether it's on offense or defense. But I would go the first 2 picks. I would go interior D line, interior O line, interior D line. For those first 2 picks in the second round. The second round, 45th pick, I'm getting the best person available, of course. And don't let a great tight end be available, because I would definitely jump and take a great tight end right there, that second spot as well. But then we got round 3, pick 80, and most of those tight ends was like ranked like in the 80s picks. So around that pick, I might jump and take a tight end there too at the third round, in round 3. So I think round 2 for me, it would be definitely an edge or interior D lineman. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you got to go the opposite. If you take a offensive lineman round 1, which I think is going to happen, round 2 has got to be the best defensive lineman available or the best edge guy. Like you said, we got to get back to wreaking havoc on that line. You got to give Jesse Minter more toys on the defense, because the defense is going to look different up front. You don't know if Madubuike is 100% coming back. If Madubuike is back, what kind of Madubuike are we getting? Are we getting a shell of a Madubuike? Are we getting a 65% strength and 90% strength? Or are we getting the Pro Bowler back? I doubt we get the Pro Bowler back, just out of a realistic viewpoint.
Right.
Van Noy's probably not coming back to Baltimore. Odafe always gone. You got
I think that's good.
I do too. Your returning pass rushers are Tavius Robinson, who missed half the year with a broken foot.
Green.
Mike Green, who was getting his ears wet as a rookie. You have Trey Hendrickson coming in here on a huge free agent deal, where he's coming off of core surgery, so you don't know how healthy he's going to be come July.
Yeah, right.
It's cautious optimism. They could all be ready to go. And then you got guys like Adisa Isaac, who got drafted in the middle rounds and has never seen the field because he's been hurt the entire time.
Yeah.
So I'm all for getting the edge.
Yeah.
I'm all for going with the interior defense. Nathan's right. Trench work needs to be the key.
I'm with Nate too. Fuck it. Let's go offensive lineman first 2 picks.
See, I like what you're saying, but I'm thinking about it. Okay, the thing is, Wilcox, I'm thinking about it from a.
I'm with you too, man. I'm thinking right the same way you are. I'm just being silly.
Yeah. My boy AJ's a huge draft guy. Huge NFL draft guy. He's on these prospects all year long. Shout out to AJ, my man right there. Happy retirement, by the way. Happy retirement, by the way, big dog. He did almost 30 years in DOC for Maryland. He just recently hung it up. He's one of the soldiers that survived Central Booking in Baltimore. If you know, you know.
Aaron, he like Denzel Washington off Training Day. King Kong ain't got nothing on me.
Here's my problem with drafting the offensive line twice in the first 2 rounds. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You've been a player and you've been an executive or a scout. we have Ronnie Stanley coming back. You're paying Ronnie
Right.
Stanley a lot of money.
Yeah.
Roger Rosengarten was a second round pick a couple years ago. You're not going to give up
True.
on him. You re-signed John Simpson to a 3-year, $30 million contract, so you put a considerable amount of money into him. So right there,
Yeah.
your left tackle, your right tackle, and your left guard is automatically taken. So that leaves right guard and center.
But didn't Rosengarten play guard too?
I believe he played guard early in his career, but he's more of a tackle.
Yeah.
Even though you and I both agree that he would be a fantastic guard. I think he'd be a fantastic guard on the inside.
Right.
Then you have Emory Jones. Emory Jones should have a decent chance to start.
I agree.
Now
He
if
looked
you
athletic to me.
he does. If you draft 2 offensive linemen, that makes 6 possible starters. So you're putting one of these guys on the bench. You're not putting the first 3 I named on the bench due to draft status and money.
True.
So who are you going to sit on the bench? Are you going to have Emory Jones riding the bench again as a 3rd round pick? Or are you going to have your 1st or 2nd round pick from this year sitting on the bench?
I think I'm letting them fight for it. Like whoever fights for it, that's who wins. You got a whole new staff in here. They're not loyal to anybody that's here. All those guys that's here, even Ronnie Stanley, he wasn't your pick. He was Harbaugh's guy. So even him, make him compete. Shit, like the best man wins. At the end of the day, who practices the best and who shows up the best, that's who plays. And we once you get chemistry on the O-line, it's hard to sit any of those guys down. If I like you right to my right or to my left, I'm going to play harder for you. So it just comes down to who plays the hardest and who plays the best. High motor guys, period. Because that's what, to me, that's the thing that's separating. Like we've seen Lamar with a decent line. We haven't seen him with a great line yet. So if we had a great O-line with Lamar, I think it's scary.
Could you argue 2019 he had a great line? Or do you attribute that to Lamar Jackson being 21 years old, 22 years old then?
I think he was blessed in 2019. I think he was blessed in 2019. He was blessed with a solid line. The thing was for me, like Lamar was young, Lamar was fresh. He was with a line that had been used to seeing like a Joe Flacco, and they had to hold guys up for like it was a different type of blocking when Flacco was in. So he kind of inherited that type of line from them, from that situation. Right. So when I think about it more and more, I feel like it was more of a scenario where those guys were so used to being stout that it made it easier for Lamar to do what he did best.
Yeah.
Because they wasn't used to having a quarterback that was so, versatile and agile like Lamar and quick and fluid like Lamar and explosive like Lamar. And once they realized, that Lamar would save them, it started getting looser and looser and looser every year. Like Lamar saved a bunch of stuff.
That's a very good point because you're absolutely right. The Ravens invested less in the offensive line as Lamar put on more dazzling performances year to year.
Yeah, he was saving guys' careers left and right.
He was, and I want people to understand this year. It's imperative to protect Lamar Jackson for 2 reasons.
Yes, absolutely.
It's imperative because number one, he's your franchise quarterback. That goes without saying. But the second reason is Lamar Jackson is going to be 30 years old at the playoffs this year. The young kid that we drafted when he was
that's crazy.
When he was 20, 21 years old is now going to be 30. And age 30, if you've looked at a lot of the top tier elite quarterbacks in the NFL the last 20 years, age 30 is when everything starts mentally clicking for them and they start to figure out who they really are going to be 100% of the way, Wilcox. It happened with Breeze, Brady, Manning, Rodgers, Roethlisberger, Russell Wilson to a degree, all these guys. Hell, you can even go back into the 90s before your time. Elway, Favre, Young, it clicked for them later in their 30s. 30 is not a death knell to a quarterback the way it is supposedly to a running back, age-wise. So Lamar's not going to run nearly as much. I think
Right.
his elite running days are behind him because of the age and the damage that he's taken to his body. Would you agree?
Yeah, I still think he got a lot of juice left to him, but it's one of those things, Matt, where I told you if I could do something different, I would go back. I would work on my speed every single offseason. And I guarantee he's not working on speed every offseason. He's just working on staying in shape.
Right.
So you end up losing a step, end up losing some fast twitch, some quickness in your movements, more explosiveness. Over time, it just starts to slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
If he's still working on speed, he could be just explosive as he was when he was 21. But I just doubt that he's doing track workouts every summer. I just doubt it.
And I don't think he probably wants to get hit the way he used to.
He don't. Who does? Hell, this shit sucks. The older you get, the longer it takes for you to recover from that stuff.
Right. I can only imagine. And the thing is, now he's been around so long, and everybody in the NFL knows that the Baltimore Ravens move the way Lamar Jackson moves. And if you have a chance to take an extra shot at him to slow him down or take him out, you're going to do it. It's just the nature of the beast.
Right. It's so crazy to me because I feel like for like the first 5 years of Lamar's career, he was the youngest quarterback starting in the NFL. And now you're looking at him now at 29 years old, and he's like, damn, he's right up in the like almost the top, third of the oldest quarterbacks in the league. I'm looking at quarterback ages right now. Aaron Rodgers, 41, Joe Flacco, 40, Matthew Stafford, 37, Russell Wilson, 36, Geno Smith, 34, Dak Prescott, 32, Baker Mayfield, 30, Jared Goff, 30, Josh Allen, 30, Patrick Mahomes, 29, Joe Burrow, 28, Lamar Jackson, 28, Daniel Jones, 28, Sam Darnold, 28, Kyler Murray, 28, Tua Tagovailoa, 27, Justin Herbert, 27, Jalen Hurts, 27, Justin Fields, 26, Jordan Love, 26, Bo Nix, 25, Michael Penix, 25. But then Bo Nix just getting the league like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He's already 25, so
I think
Brock
he's
Purdy
26 now. I think you can add a year to everybody's age on that.
To everybody's age on this. Yeah. Brock Purdy, 25, Bryce Young, all those guys. I mean, the youngest guy right now is JJ McCarthy. He's 23.
And he looks to be a little bit of a lost cause. They signed Kyler Murray, man. They
did.
They signed a 5'7" quarterback to compete with that guy.
Yeah, they say he like a little badass kid running at the playground.
Little fucking gremlin, man. But anyway, okay. I wanted to ask you a question before we get towards the end of the show. Day 3 is always your wild card picks. Your projects. You take a flyer on a guy. You're looking for depth. The Ravens have 11 total picks this year, and they have 8 picks on day 3.
Wow.
They are loaded.
Wow.
They are loaded in the draft with back end picks. So they got number 14 overall, number 45 overall, number 80 overall. Then they got 1 4th round pick at 115. Then they got 4 picks in the fifth round. Wow. 154, 162, 173, and 174. That's a lot in the 5th round. So
it is.
What
some quality guys?
What would be your strategy? So we talk about the Ravens' first 4 picks. You go interior O-line, interior D-line, edge, or some form of combination of those 3 positions in your first 4 picks. What do you use those 5th round picks for? What are your priorities going into day 3? Say you're Eric DeCosta, and you say, okay, we got our interior lineman, we got our defensive tackle, we got another center, we got an edge rusher in the 3rd round. You go center in the 4th round, or whatever, however you want to spin it. What is your priority with those 4 picks on day 3 in the 5th round?
I do believe you got to try to get a wide receiver. I do believe you got to try to get a tight end. So I do believe you need to get a linebacker, like a dog, So those are definitely 3 positions I would look into. At the same time, the way the Ravens usually work is they take best available. and I don't know what the best available is going to look like by the time they get to the 5th round. There's so many guys that's going to fall, and there's so many guys that's not going to be ranked the way the Ravens have them ranked.
Okay.
You know, the Ravens may have guys ranked totally different from the other 32 teams. And as they see those guys slip through the cracks, they're going to pull the trigger on some of those guys that they had ranked very highly. They do a very thorough job of ranking these guys. And I believe that their system is very unflawed. I feel like it is. You know, they're going to take best available. They maybe end up with another safety or another corner. It just depends on what they feel like they need the most, you know. But I would love for them to get a special team demon, you know, that could go down and bang some heads and make some plays for us on special team and cause some turnovers and stuff. You know, another corner would be, you know, I think it wouldn't be too far-fetched. And you got to think about what we lost, you know, in free agency, you know.
Yeah.
The Darius Washingtons, the Isaiah Likely's that we lost, you know, the players that we lost, even the Daniel Faleles.
Yeah. You know what? I'm so happy he got signed by the New York Giants, man. I can't tell you how happy.
Oh,
John
man.
Harbaugh
Harbaugh.
made everybody's day when that news came across the news feed.
I don't feel good about it though, Matt. I don't feel good about it.
Okay, everybody that's watching right now, I'm going to finish Daniel Wilcox's sentence for 1 second. He is afraid that Daniel Faalele is going to go up to New York and get coached up and be a Pro Bowl right guard.
And we're gonna wish we had kept that big sucker.
And we're not. He's forgetting, folks. He is forgetting. There's Twitter and Instagram pages dedicated to his fuck ups.
No, I'm not forgetting, Matt. What I told you all last season: either you coaching that shit or you allowing it to happen. It's only one. And Adelius Thomas will tell you straight up to your face: either you coaching that shit or you allowing it to happen. So what we saw was week in and week out, bad technique, bad footwork, bad effort. So either they was coaching him to do that shit or they was allowing that shit to happen. So in my mind, he cannot be that bad. So in my mind, if he was being coached the right way, he would have played totally different. So I'm sorry. You know, it just for him to be starting all year long, they had to be telling him it was okay.
Let's be fair, though. Let's be fair. The entirety of 2025 NFL season, we were talking on this show that he was playing like a dickhead every week.
he absolutely was horrible. That's why I said either they was coaching him to be horrible because Harbaugh knew he was leaving to go to the Giants. He was leaving to go somewhere, but he knew he wanted to circle back to pick up his boy. The year before, he played a hell of a lot better than what he did last year. He played every game this year playing the exact same way. He was garbage.
You know, now here's okay. Brandon's one of our loyal listeners. What's up, Brandon? Thank you for tuning in. But here's what I wanted to ask you, Wilcox.
Yeah.
Our offensive line depth is pretty much the center they brought in from the Falcons, Corey Bullock.
I love it.
And that's it.
Simpson.
Well, I'm saying the backups.
Got you.
The depth. So, would you take some of those 5th round picks and take a flyer on the small school offensive lineman that you can kind of mold? Because I think it's going to be some guys that's going to drop. I think it's going to be some guys that's going to fall to the wayside because people don't need O linemen in those positions or whatever. And I think it's going to be some guys hanging around there. There's going to be some cliffhangers, and we're going to be like, shit, we got him. We're going to get excited, bro. I'm telling you, it's going to be an exciting draft this year. I'm firmly of the belief that we got one of the best offensive line coaches in the league in Dwayne Ledford. He's a former NFL offensive lineman of almost 10 years. So he played in the league. He's coached in the league. Atlanta had a very good offensive line for the last couple years. They just didn't have a very good quarterback the last couple years. So I believe that he's going to mold these offensive linemen coming in. I think that you need to take a couple of guards and tackles in that third day to where you can kind of mold them for depth. Because at this point, you don't want to spend a whole lot of money on a swing tackle or a swing guard or anybody like that. Bullock can play the interior. The kid from Atlanta can play the interior. Go get a project tackle and let Ledford coach him up. and I think we should be okay.
I agree.
We should
agree.
be okay.
Get athletic guys that can move and be
Yes.
versatile in different positions.
Right. And then I also think that they needed to seriously consider either in the 4th or the 5th round drafting another running back
I agree.
because you lost Keaton Mitchell, which still hurts my
Mhm.
heart to this day. I'm happy for him. You and I are both good friends with his pops. Happy for the guy. He got $5 million guaranteed from those guys over 2 years on a $10 million contract. Happy as can be for him. I knew he was going to go get paid somewhere. I was hoping he was here. But
$5 million guaranteed isn't a lot of money still. It's still only 2.5 after taxes. So
that's 2.5 more than I have. So
it is. It's 2.5 more than I have too. It's 2.5 more than anybody that has. It don't matter what they got, but still, it's not 5 million. So 5 million sounds great, but it's really 2.5.
Hey,
okay?
There's 6 figures in my bank account. There's just a decimal after the second number. So
yeah, mine don't even have 6 in it right now. I'm sick.
Let's not start that shit.
Anyway, you, Matt.
Anyway, I think you gotta look at running back.
Absolutely,
you definitely gotta look at running back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do.
Tight end, you gotta look at tight end, and I believe that you have to look for an inside linebacker. I'm not saying it's got to be a high pick, but I think you need to go and get one of those thumpers from Iowa or Nebraska or Ohio State. Just one of those downhill gap filling linebackers to kind of take take the pressure off of Rowe and Teddy and Simpson having to be every down linebackers.
Yeah.
So find the depth there. I want to ask you this question before we wrap. I was listening to 105.7 The Fan today, and they were talking about potential surprises. Are you in favor of the Ravens using their first round draft pick if Jeremiah Love falls for running back at anywhere from 10 to 14?
I am. I mean, now that Harbaugh's gone, I am. I feel like Mentor would be the type of coach that would be more in control over whether or not we run the ball more or pass the ball more. So as far as I'm concerned, yeah. I mean, if you go get a dog at running back and you got him and Derrick Henry back there to carry the load, I mean, who the hell wouldn't be afraid of that shit? I mean, it's to me, Derrick Henry, Jeremiah Love, Lamar Jackson in the backfield, run the ball 30 times a game. Like what we talking about? I mean, what we talking about? I need to get the sunglasses.
Yeah.
My eyes isn't as bad as they usually are right now. I'm not as tired, even though I've been up and down this road like crazy.
Now here's where I like AJ's suggestion. The kid Roman Hemby from Indiana, he was a Maryland transfer. He started his collegiate career down 95 from us with the Maryland Terps. The kid's a baller. Now, if you draft him, he is Keaton without that 5th gear. He's fast, but he's not Keaton fast. But they're very similar in build, and he's got a your prototypical running back build. He just doesn't have that 5th gear. Not many running backs have that gear that Keaton has. I like that though. I would like Hemby in the later rounds if he's there. Another guy that intrigues me for the draft. He's on the defensive side of the ball. I want to throw his name out there before we wrap, and that is defensive tackle Landon Robinson from Navy. He's undersized. He's 5'11" and 295, but the dude is an absolute game wrecker. Right. He's your Kelly Gregg. And I would believe that if we can get him late, he's a disruptor on that line. And he's probably small enough to where you can move him to the 1, the 3, or the 5.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like versatile guys. So if he's a versatile guy, he's twitchy and quick and he's fast, explosive, and strong. On the D-line, I'm all for it. I think sometimes the smaller guys, the shorter guys are better because this game is all about leverage. So having a low center of gravity and being lower to the ground automatically puts you underneath those bigger, taller linemen. A lot of these teams got these big guards that are kind of slow-footed. So if you got a quick-footed guy, short-stature guy that's short to the ground and explosive, he's able to come through and make some very explosive plays for you and be very disruptive in the middle of the line. So I'm with it.
Yeah.
I'm with it. I don't think Bane will fall to 14. I think he's too big of a name guy. They're not gonna allow that. Nobody's gonna allow that to happen.
I tend to agree with you.
Yeah.
AJ makes another good point. We also
Mhm.
got the former defensive coordinator from Navy and on the staff, so that makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah.
That'll do it for our draft show. The NFL draft starts tomorrow night at 8:00.
Mhm.
Looking forward to it. It's always a good time of the year. We'll be back to cover the Ravens draft picks when the draft is complete. Unless there's any major breaking news or a trade or anything of that sort. Any bold prediction for the Ravens for the draft? Do you see anything major happening with the Ravens?
Who, me?
Yeah,
You asking me that question?
I'm asking you that question.
I think it's going to be a phenomenal draft. I think the
Okay.
Ravens are going to kill it. I think they're going to rate as a plus or a high A grade overall with the draft. I don't think there's anything that could possibly surprise me when it comes to the Ravens. Only thing that would surprise me if they draft a freaking quarterback. I'm like, what? What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we
Yeah.
doing? Come on, guys. But besides that, I mean, there's nothing that would surprise me. I think they're going to do a phenomenal job this year. I think they know exactly what they need. I think they got a great staff they've hired, and they got a great bunch of guys in the front office that's going to kill it this year. You know, we're going to be right where we need to be. And now that it's not a Harbaugh's team, it's going to be a different look team. You're going to see players that have been on this team, and you was like, damn, why he didn't play that good for Harbaugh? They're going to play better this year for us, for Mentor. And I don't know. I just got a great feeling about this season and how everything's going to flow. So just stay tuned. It's nothing that's going to surprise me with this draft. We're going to get some guys that you're not going to expect to be a Baltimore Raven, and that's how it happens every single year. But the guys that we get, they're going to be better than you could ever possibly imagine them to be. Looking forward
Yeah.
to it.
I am too. Justin, EDC knows what he's doing. I have all the faith in the world.
Same here.
I believe 100%. Like for my, like just for like a possible like surprise, I think Eric gets rid of either Bateman or Marlin over the weekend. That's just my prediction. But with that being said, thank you everybody for tuning in to this episode of We Bleed Purple podcast. Make sure you subscribe, like, set your notifications to for the YouTube channel We Bleed Purple podcast. Share it with your friends, share it with your group chat, share it on social media. We are approaching 400 subscribers. Hopefully, we'll be there after the draft. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you early next week when we cover the Ravens 2026 draft class. Daniel Wilcox, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on IG at Daniel.Wilcox and X at Coach Wilcox. And appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. Do not forget to go like, subscribe, and follow. Matt, where they can find you?
You can find me on IG at mtrig89. You can find me on X at mtrigwbp3547. And yeah, that's a wrap. We will see you guys at the conclusion of the NFL draft. Enjoy it. This is like Christmas for football fans.
Absolutely. Bird Gang.